Okay. Good evening and welcome to the November 13th Budget Committee meeting. And see, the first thing on our agenda is the meeting minutes from November 6th, 2013. We just had a moment to look them over.
I just have one small typo on page 2. Or do we have to make a motion to bring them to the floor? No. Page 2, you have Portsmouth instead of Portsmouth.
Whereabouts is that?
Page 2, like the third paragraph up from the bottom, Mr. Pyra, and it says,
Portsmouth, yeah. I never did like Portsmouth anyway, so we'll rename it. The heck with them. They can't even keep their bridges up.
Yeah, Gene Alden and John Bossy and Stan Brown will not be here tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the minutes with the one amendment to changing the word from Portsmouth to Portsmouth on the November 6, 2013 meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to accept the minutes as amended in second. Any more discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? So moved. Okay. Next thing is library. We'll get you right through.
Come on up.
Shuffle you right through.
Stand and speak into the...
You can come right up here and sit with us. Sandy, you're welcome to come up if you want, or you have your little setup.
Going here and everything.
And as usual, we the selectmen join us so that you won't have to come twice.
Okay.
And do that. Now, is this your first year doing?
No, it's my second year, but last year Eliza spoke for me
That's right.
about the budget portion,
Well,
so
what's that purple one?
I will, yeah, the purple on this is very dark.
Holy cow.
So I
I
apologize.
think it says adult programs.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you hold it just in the right light.
Gives you something to do, sir.
So these are just some of our statistics from the past 3 years. I thought you might enjoy, get a kick out of, appreciate the information that, it's mostly about programming and some of our holdings information you'll find on the back part of the page, or if you have a 2-page handout. It's on the second page. So you can have a look at that. And then the second handout is our comparison to other libraries in the state that have a population range between 6,000 and 12,000, which includes their population, how many hours they're open, their total staff based on a 40-hour work week. So that is on the first page of your second handout. And then the second page is in reference to their staffing in ours. Ours is in yellow, and well, the highlighting on the second page really doesn't mean anything. So if you have any questions about that, you're more than welcome to ask, but it's really just to give you some information about our library in reference to other towns with the same population. There's that. And then you'll have to refresh my memory from last year, but do you just want me to discuss what we've asked for in
Yeah, that would work.
additional money that we've asked for?
Uh-huh.
Okay. We've asked each town for an additional $1,050. There have been a few adjustments in our budget, and I think you all should have a copy of...
Yeah.
Okay. So it says the Hall Memorial Library budget, and it has our year-to-date actual and the budget, our year-to-date variance, and then our proposal for, our budget for 2013 and our proposed budget for 2014. So there are some differences. If you start at the top with admin and office, we've done a lot more programs this year, so that has come out of our admin and office budget and also out of our programming budget. So there's been an increase in both of those. We did have a decrease in our automation. We had to purchase a new ILS, which is our catalog and sort of our inventory system. So there's been a decrease for next year in that. Based on 2012's overages, we are asking for more in benefits and for our electric and heat, and retirement too. We are asking for less for the telephone and less for our education fund.
Now, you've increased the hours. What are the hours now for the library?
Well, no, we haven't increased the hours.
Okay, but they're going into the evenings?
Yes, we do go into the evenings Mondays and Thursdays. We're open until 8.
8.
Tuesdays.
It used to be 6 o'clock. Did it not?
It may have been.
Yeah.
Before I started.
Yeah.
We do have a suggestion box, both online and in person at the library. And there have been some suggestions to have more hours on the weekends. So we're not prepared to do that quite yet, but we'd like to poll our patrons and see what would work best for them and maybe shift some hours around.
You were just looking at your webpage.
Oh, Brittany does that. She's fantastic.
Okay, and that's new from last year, lots of it. And you're the expert, sir. It boggled my mind, so it must be good.
Yeah.
Are you speaking about the hallmemoriallibrary.org?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, we have added some new things to that. Where I was kind of trying to change things. We have a blog now. Our ILS came with a catalog that people can log into and renew things from home and reserve items. They can follow what they've checked out in the past. It's a lot more bang for our buck, so we're paying less now, but it's much more intuitive for our patrons.
You've also have access to audiobooks through your...
Yes, through New Hampshire downloadables, yes.
Because I'm looking at the senior population, those folks that may have a computer but can't get out. So they're now able to access those audiobooks through that system?
Many of them, yes. Like with going into the library, there's often a wait for them. It's pretty expensive, but it isn't, if people are willing to wait, it is an easier way to get audiobooks for them. We also have a really large print collection, and we offer a homebound service. I don't think very many people know about that, so if you know of anyone who doesn't get out of their home and might need somebody to check in on them, we have 2 volunteers who will bring books to people once a month and then pick up the books that they dropped off the last month.
Good, we'll let Jane know that. She's into that. Question we had last year was around interfacing with the schools. Has that gotten better, stayed about the same, or gotten worse?
It's hard to say because I wasn't here before, but I know that I am on a committee for the Safe Walks to School committee, and I have met with the school librarian several times, and the children's librarian and our young adult librarian go to the school once a week to pick up books and check in on what activities might be coming up. So it's hard to say. I want to say it's a little better, but it's probably about the same.
And my last question is, I noticed that activities are going on during the afternoon,
Yes.
different activities. Maybe we could let the budget committee know what kind of activities are going on, other than just going in and getting a book.
We are super busy. We average about 42 programs a month, and that is for teens. Well, you can see on the first handout I gave you with the dark purple. It's for adults, it's for juveniles, it's for intergenerational, and then young adults. Our young adult programming has taken off tremendously. We do a lot of crafts. The staff is exceptionally good at, if you look at our programming fund, it was only $500 last year, and we're hoping to get the increase there. So they're really good at doing a lot with very little. For instance, Maggie does our crafts every week on Wednesdays, and this week she took cans, recycled cans, and made wind chimes, and it was just such a popular thing. People were really excited. So she averages about 13 families that come in every week to do the craft. We have a Spanish club. We have, let's see, Brittany just had a Halloween party. She does a lot of activities with the kids, and they range from movies to crafts. She's trying to start a duct tape club. It's very popular, apparently. And if you're in the library at all, in the past couple of weeks, between the hours of 3 and 5, you'll see that our young adult population has just boomed exponentially. There's usually anywhere between 20 and 40 young adults crammed in.
It's good to see that there's activities that are going on during that period of time, because a lot of our kids, that's a real downtime for them right after school.
Yes.
And parents are not
Library, it's
home.
super busy.
So it's nice to see that there's a place to go. Also nice to see a place to go with us older folks. Have not made tea time yet, but I will. It's an old English tradition in libraries. So
Tea time's kind of fun. We do have quite a few young adults who go. We were trying to. I've totally forgot about that. We haven't had it for the last couple of weeks, but we're trying to teach. It has turned into teaching some of the younger folks a little bit of etiquette around manners and tea time, and discussing things other than pop culture, and we're trying to get them to talk about books and learn different things. So that's been pretty popular. We've had a few adults who have come and really tried to help out with that too. So it's been really fun.
super. Thank you.
I was looking at last year's budget, and the payroll for 2013 proposed would be 148, but on the sheet here it says 115. This is what I had for last year. The
Yes.
numbers- Yeah, the numbers
Oh,
don't seem
from-
to line up with, so it looks like your payroll went up substantially this year, but
I believe that our pay. Okay, so the one that
this
you
is
handed
what was
me,
submitted last year.
that's from
yeah.
last year. Our payroll has been varied because we have had some personnel changes. We've had quite a few, actually. And I believe that the payroll changes result from, having it be so much higher is from that. We had 2 people who were out on medical leave, and I may get this wrong, but I think because they were on medical leave, they were being paid, but we had to bring people in to cover for them also. So there was some disability money thrown in there too. So we just had a very difficult payroll year in terms of personnel and keeping the library fully staffed.
Yeah, what I'm trying to figure out is the numbers are different than,
Oh, then what's on it from last year?
yeah,
Because
because it says payroll, proposed budget, 157, but then when I look at the one submitted this year, it says it was 154.
That
And it said the
is a really good question.
payroll taxes, on the one you submitted says 11,000, and 2013 says 12. I mean, none of these numbers seem to, well, when you get down to retirement and all that.
compared to last year's.
Yeah.
Was it last year or the year before that they came in and they were going to hire another full-time, and then they
3
took...
years ago.
Oh. Never mind.
So,
I can't say for sure. I would have to ask Eliza.
yeah,
That's when their payroll was
Yeah, maybe
really
if you can
messed up.
take a look at
Yeah.
that, because maybe there's something
I
Okay.
just thought maybe
you don't
they
see
had-
there. So, did they add somebody new this year? Or?
Well, Coral left.
Yeah.
And so Brittany was added full-time in her position, and that meant that Maggie was bumped up to the amount of hours Brittany had. I came in Mary's place, and, let's see, Jessie left. Kelly has also, is officially done. She was the children's librarian, and was in and out all summer. So we have replaced her position with a new gal named Julie. And we have another person who fills in on the evening and weekends. So I don't necessarily think that we've added. We have about 179 hours, 180 hours. That's what we average a week.
So there's,
And I think that's actually less than what is before, what has been before.
okay, so let's see, how many full-time employees?
2.
There's 2. And then there's,
Hold on, I have a sticky note with this written on it somewhere. We have 6 part-time people, and they have approximately 9 to 9 hours a week.
and they don't get benefits.
They do not get benefits.
The 2 full-time actually have benefits.
Yes, and if they work over 20 hours a week, they get paid holidays and vacation time. But that is only one person right now.
Do they get paid 8 hours of holiday time, or do they get paid, like, part-time, like 4 hours? Well, you said over 20 hours? They get paid holiday time?
If they work over 20 hours a week, and a holiday comes around, they would be paid for whatever hours they would have worked that day. Does that make sense?
Now, you have the disability insurance that you pay, and then the disability company reimburses.
That is correct,
That's the
yes.
system. That's why the payroll gets crazy, because you have to actually pay, but the money then comes at the whim of the disability company to replace that funding.
Yes, that is true. And so that is not on this budget right here, but it's reflected as an income. So
Okay.
it looks like an expense, but it's reflected as an income.
Okay, and that goes directly back into your budget or into a general fund?
Into the budget, I believe.
Okay.
Or where would we see that income come in on the budget?
Well, that would have been in 2012.
Oh, I thought you said you had some people out this year on medical leave.
Well, actually, Coral left at the end of 2012. So the only person we've had out on medical leave, other than maternity leave, who, well, there was Jessie, so she had maternity leave and left, but I don't believe she was paid for any of that. But then there was Kelly, she was out.
Actually pay them this year.
How's the boiler doing?
The boiler is
Or the heater?
a joy. As you can tell by our HVAC repairs, it had a tough year, as did our air conditioners, so we had the repair folks in quite but we are looking at possibly getting switched over from oil to gas.
Good.
So hopefully to save a bit of money.
Pipeline is not far away from you.
Yes, I know, it's very exciting.
So that's what was requested, and last year we gave them 121, 150 for this year.
Last year we gave,
The 121, 150,
this is one,
maybe that's what was requested. Don't think I can figure.
So we would have given more than?
We gave them, in here, what was awarded at the town meeting was
Okay, I see.
121, 150.
I think if you're looking at the year-to-date budget, the second column,
We're not.
oh, you're not, oh, okay, sorry.
What was actually budgeted at town meeting for Hall Memorial Library for the 2013 year was 121, 150.
Yeah.
That's what was budgeted. So that's not proposed. They got that. So, but that says
If you-
123?
It's offset up here. Budgeted is just
That's not
not,
what we're looking at.
Yeah,
Oh.
we're looking at the-
This is our report from our IT director. So this shows us what town meeting actually passed.
okay.
which was here, but on this one, it says 123. I'll have to talk to Eliza, I think there's something.
This might be off.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of years where they came in and there were errors in their accounting. Oh, that could be.
Where are you
Can't
seeing
imagine that we-
123, John?
Yeah,
It seems strange that we'd only drop it. If they came in and asked for 123, why would we drop it to 121? Why did the benefits increase if you don't have any new people? Is it just because, I mean,
it's based on the overages from last year. Well, from,
but there is no overage.
we budgeted for 18,750 for the year-to-date. And the year-to-date, and we're $1,000 over that already.
Okay, so I'm asking why.
That is a good question. I can't answer that.
I mean, do you have somebody that, because you said people were shuffled about, but you've always had 2 full-time positions, right?
Yes.
I wonder if somebody had a family plan, maybe, and had a single plan before.
Maybe
previous
insurance
employee.
changed. And then the other interesting thing is in
Dependence on the-
retirement increased by $500.
And the retirement, the change for that was, hold on one second.
Because if they've always had 2 full-times, they're not changing those positions.
Well,
Why would they change?
the library contributes 3% to our retirement.
But they always have.
They
Have the
have,
2 full-time positions.
yes,
Part-timers probably don't get it. Well, you said they don't get benefits.
that's correct. The only thing that I could guess for that is that Brittany does have a few extra hours, so I think it's 6 extra hours to make her for a full 40, and Coral was at 36, so there may be a change there.
Has the retirement rate changed for you folks over there?
What do you mean by retirement rate?
You have to, you put in so much money. Has that changed? Because I know with the state and with the town, those rates have changed. Have those rates changed for you folks over there?
I don't know if that would affect the library.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because
It affected the school, the fire,
it affected the school, municipal employees, state employees.
did it affect the police?
Yep.
Did it? I don't remember.
I don't know
They're
for
always
sure. I haven't
Maybe-
changed anything from what I've had to contribute. I
If you
think
could
it-
ask Eliza if the rate changed and that's why the increase was there, that would be good.
Okay,
Now, these are Eliza questions.
yes.
Okay.
What I can do is make a copy of this and then, so she can see why we're,
Okay.
Just this sheet?
that's it. I didn't go through the others, that was just the numbers.
Can I borrow your pen?
It's hard for you to
Absolutely.
put it all together. And how did the snow plowing work out? Wasn't last year the first year that you used the same contractor or shared?
Last year's?
I think it might have been the second year.
Second year?
And it does work out very well.
Great.
I mean, sharing a parking lot is not always a joy, so there were a couple of snow removal issues, but for the most part, it went really easily.
I think before there was 2 different contractors plowing a shared parking lot.
Yeah, yeah,
The line down the middle.
Where's the
is
line?
that was one of my questions about how the interactions are going with the school system.
Yeah.
Some of it goes,
Oh, that part's really super smooth.
yes. We're lucky we don't have a lawn that adjoins both. We have 3 companies doing the same lawn.
That would be an interesting time. So, why did the retirement go up? That's one of the questions that you'd like to have answered. And then, why on the 2012 would it be 123?
Yeah, the difference is there's a few numbers that are different. Compared to this year's. So the numbers from last year's didn't transpose directly over to this year's request.
Then it could be a transposition error on Eliza's part.
I feel like there's probably an easy explanation and I'm just totally missing it.
It's all right, I'm not an accountant either.
So we're asking the same amount from both towns?
Yes,
And you met with Northfield last night?
I did.
How did it go?
Great.
I would not expect you to say anything else.
This is great as
Careful,
asking for,
careful.
well, it's never difficult going and asking somebody for $22,000.
No, it is. It's very hard.
It's hard, but everybody does appreciate the library and the
Yeah.
great job everybody does over there.
We do try.
It's
We've
so
really
important.
tried this year to reach out to as many people as we can. And I don't think our numbers won't necessarily reflect that. I keep statistics a little differently than Mary did, so when the town report comes out and it's in there, it'll be different. But we've seen a real influx of people. We're issuing between 40 and 60 new library cards a month, and that is really significant.
That's really nice, because, these days, the big question is
Will they survive?
technology, it's like I get my granddaughter's, my God, is she 14? That's frightening. But it drives me crazy. She has her phone in front of her face on the internet, or her little mini computer on her face in front of the internet. I said, why don't you get a book and read? And I'm surprised she doesn't say, what's that?
I wish I had $1 for every time I had to tell the young adults in the library, you need to be reading or studying, because it's very much the same. But if you look at the second page of this bright colored handout, our computer usage, just even in the last 3 months, from August, September, and October, has gone up crazy amounts. I mean, almost 1,000 people came in and used one of our computers
Oh, wow.
in October compared to 560 in January, or 730 from the last year. So we do have there's a large population of people that are being served that don't have the ability to have cable and internet at home. And our DVDs are our biggest circulating items.
Do you control where they go in the computer?
We do not. And anybody under the age of 18 has to have a parent come in and sign that they understand that we don't control where they go. There aren't filters on our computers, and so that makes it a little easier, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, in today's world, with their phones being able to connect, does it really matter anymore if we try to control that? Because
Yeah.
What it's nice to see, though, that you've been able to take the library and make it a community piece. When I've been over there have been several groups of special needs clients that have come in and used the facilities, feel very comfortable using the facilities. Also seen some tutoring that's been going on throughout the library, and tutors are really feeling safe about being able to do stuff like that.
And I think those are the numbers that aren't reflected, because our tutors they don't have anything to do with the library other than using the space. They don't, they're not our employees, they don't schedule their time through us. They just use our space, so we don't keep track of those numbers. It would be very difficult. This summer, it was unbelievable, the amount of people that came in to use the space for tutoring. But I'm really glad you mentioned the special needs folks, because we have a gigantic population of people who come in to use the library and use our services and get tutored and volunteer for us. And we don't count them any other way than volunteers either, because they're just patrons to us and we just try our best to help them out as we can.
Anybody else have any questions? Sandy, do you have any? Or?
I have no issues.
Okay, excellent.
Good.
And so should I email somebody with that, or do you want me to come back?
To Johanna, and she'll
At
distribute.
tiltonnh.org.
Or you can go to the website.
That is spectacular. Sewer at tiltonnh.org.
Yes,
Okay.
and that doesn't reflect the budget committee, it just is the way it is. The sewer is the sewer.
I sort of want that email for myself, because you must get that reaction all the time. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. And so I should just email, will you want me to come back or have Eliza come back?
You probably won't, if we have any other questions, we could, put them together. And,
Either way works.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Put this back. 10 years, 76. I don't think.
Yeah. There were two, but the other rescheduled.
This is really special. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Do now.
Okay.
Jenna,
Jenna?
and you love her because she has a Volkswagen.
Next thing we
I
go.
drive a Subaru, so.
She has a license plate that reflects the whole thing.
Library.
What do you think her license plate says? Jenna Bugger.
There you go.
See?
Okay, the other thing we had on the agenda would be the financials. Did you need a copy?
I'm all set.
Could probably pull it up. And,
You like paper, sir?
yeah, it's kind of hard going through this.
Good. The question, one of the questions I have is on one of the outside agencies. They actually spent more money than we actually provided them,
That would be, Home Day.
so,
How could that
It was, money came in, money came out, a donation from, a donation came to us for Old Home Day, so we have to show it as revenue and then give it to them.
oh, okay.
So it wasn't raised and appropriated by the town, it was a gift for Old
there's-
Home Day via the town.
So it would be come in under,
It was $180.
that comes in under
It was
revenue.
$180. So we have to accept it, and then we pay it out.
Okay, so it comes in under income,
Yeah, we have to report it as revenue.
revenue, and then it's
And I think that
expended.
was back in June or July.
Okay.
That happened.
Because I looked at it and I said, well, wait a second, if we only give them so much money, how can they get extra?
We were being really generous. They're just good people. We're gonna give them more.
Okay,
Yeah, no, that's what it is.
okay, good.
In and out.
The, Route 132 ball field. Last year, there was a money approved to do some work to the field. What was supposed to be that work?
The work's been done.
I know, but
The
I guess. what I-
northwest corner was leveled for two reasons. It was approximately, in one corner, almost 18 and a half inches out of, level. That is the corner where the plan was to put a backstop for field games. And that's where we put up the skating rink.
Just, the northwest corner would be the corner closest to the parking lot.
132 in the parking lot.
It just, I drove by it the other day, and it just seems like a lump of dirt. I don't know, maybe I was envisioning something else happening there, and it just didn't.
No.
Even my kids asked what happened there, and
They came in and they really did a nice job transitioning it into the field. They brought in loam. It'll be seeded in the spring.
it looks like they hydro-seeded it or something.
They
but-
put a covering on it so it wouldn't erode and it would protect it. But we thought, we're going to be putting the skating rink up in the next couple of weeks, and it would just kill anything that tried to grow. So they'll come back in the spring and reseed, or seed it.
Now, talking about parks, we appropriated money for them to redo the railings over in the park. What's the
That's been
process?
contracted out, and they're going to try to do it this year.
Okay.
He's going week by week. The temperature is supposed to be, it has to be above 50 degrees. So if they go over there and scrape tomorrow, they can paint on Friday. Or if they scrape on Friday, they can paint on Saturday. I don't know. I'll know when it takes place.
So that will come out of this year's,
It will come out of this year's budget.
Okay, so if the work is delayed to
We have a
next
contractual
year.
agreement with the company. They've been hired to do it, so, yeah.
so that
Okay.
money's already encumbered into.
It won't have to be
previous
raised and appropriated again.
Okay, good.
I see we're working on bricks. Pointing or?
I was going to say, working on bricks all over the place. There's bricks in the park that have to be done, hopefully by labor that'll cost us zero. Town Hall has a very serious issue on this eastern side in the alleyway. It's been, at least 6 years now. And we have tried to get people interested in doing it and giving the estimate. And the problem is, if you look up, you'll see that, is it our roof that overhangs the Tilton Inn's roof? Yes.
Our roof hits their roof.
Our
and it
roof
comes back
goes
and
over
hits our
theirs,
wall.
theirs comes down. And, it's so narrow in there. Staging is an issue. How do you get up there to do anything? You can't come down from the roof because of the overhang, and it's a very difficult situation. So basically, I think you're gonna be on ladders. But, I talked to a fellow who's, repointing the building where, Charlie Chandler's law office was. And he said that he would stop by, and I think Pat Constantino also contacted a couple of people to give us estimates. So, hopefully, we haven't put it in the budget to raise and appropriate because we don't have an estimate. Maybe this year we will be able to. But we will get to the point where bricks are gonna actually start falling off.
Do we need to maybe do a fund like we do for the Island Park, where we should start stashing money away for,
We've talked about that, capital reserve for it.
We've been putting money, I'd have to look back through, keep putting money into building maintenance, and it doesn't seem like it gets spent. Once
We were
pay for
going to,
lights.
well, excuse me, and that's why we're moving cautiously with this. We have a water issue, and probably everybody knows, when you walk between the Tilton and Town Hall in the winter, you better be careful because there's almost always ice, and sometimes there's a block of ice. Because of the way the water comes down through the alley, it drips off Tilton and it just comes out, and then it just kind of slowly weaves across the sidewalk. We were going to put in a drainage system and then redo the sidewalk at the same time, which needs to be done, and tie it into the catch basin out here, the state's catch basin. Well, they finally told us, no way.
I think
We cannot
we can't drain the sidewalk.
cannot drain the waters into their catch basin.
That would have drained in there anyway.
Yeah, so we obviously didn't do the project. One of the other issues we have is snow falls off the roof. And I think it's Jane, isn't it, that's been caught
She got twice.
twice? I mean, it's funny because she didn't get hurt, but people have been killed by that.
We all know not to stand by her, though.
Right. Yeah, struck by lightning. So that's another project that we need to do, but, what do you do? There's a flat roof and then the little hip roof, so do you put an awning over it? Canvas awning we looked at hiring a carpenter to actually build a wooden structure over it. We talked about diverters, so we went the really least expensive route and to put up gutters to try to divert the water so it doesn't build up. So that's another one of the projects. We have to repair the floor in the basement because we've been utilizing it more and more for storage area. That's a project hopefully will get done this year. There's a lot of things that need to be done. We need to create a place where we can have non-public sessions. So we talked about utilizing the stage space for that.
Are we talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in repairs here, or are we?
No. We've been doing it piecemeal over the years, what we can do. So we, try to do the most important things first. We had an issue with water in the basement, so we dealt with that, and humidity and sealing up. I mean, we had a possum go into the basement and die, so we had to seal up holes.
I don't know if it'd be a good idea or not to shouldn't we be just creating a fund and plan out all of these, every so many years we're gonna have to point the bricks, every so many years we're gonna have to replace boilers, and all the structural things.
And boards of selectmen have talked about that. The last time it was talked about was 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, 3 or 4, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
and then there was no agreement amongst the selectmen to do that.
I haven't looked at the previous years, but it seems like a lot of times we put money in to do things, and then, like the lights and that, and then it's not as economical, or they do it a different way, and then we reappropriate money the next year for some projects, and then, go, but maybe get a better plan for it, and start a reserve
Yeah,
fund for it.
it probably seems like we're raising and appropriating money needlessly, but for example, this year, we're returning monies back to the taxpayers. Well, we already did that, which kept the tax rate low, 78,000. So, and most of these projects are, well, except for that one, that's a big project. I easily see that,
Oh, look
80,
at what we did
90,000.
over here.
I do. But most of these projects are small projects, so would you create a capital reserve for, I think, what did we raise last year? It was less than 25?
I was gonna say, we also did the project on that side to cut down on how much water was coming in. We changed the whole,
That was the water leaking into the
Well, things like
basement.
carpets need to be replaced every so many years.
Yep.
Painting needs to be done every so many years.
and we have our list.
I'm
Yes.
sure Joanna can
And
tell you
we've
a bunch
we-
of things that could be done up here to make it a little more comfortable every year.
Yep. For 3 years, we've tried to replace the carpet, but could not get a consensus, and I was standing there, they just shampooed them. We're trying to figure out how old they are. We figured they've got to be going on to 20 years.
I was gonna say, they were put in when they remodeled the downstairs.
So, to do all those things, instead of just keep putting money in. and
Capital
then-
improvements. But yes, like I said, it's just the selectmen can't agree to do that. Each selectman will have their project they think is most important.
Well, we have,
But a capital improvements committee, that's what that would be great for. We have these projects, give it to them and let them come up with it. But some of these projects are very small. So if we could come up with, say, a yearly amount, I suppose?
the front doors need to be refinished all the time, and send, and schedule it, and I think, John might, somebody who's a home inspector or something might,
See, we have
structural
maintenance.
inspector that can help put something together and just sort of map a whole plan, replacement plan for things.
Last year, it was $11,500, so you wouldn't put that amount in a capital improvements fund. It's just not enough.
But, you know, how about the previous year? We don't always spend them.
No,
They
but
just
that's
go-
what I
They go
mean.
back to the taxpayers, but then all of a sudden, we're gonna get hit with this big, like you said, $80,000 or something to do the bricks. and
Well,
then-
we need a firm estimate. Hopefully, we'll have that this year.
I mean,
And
although
if
it's not
so,
enough-
then you're right, that's perfect for a capital improvement. Then we can, you know, set aside and plan, okay, we're gonna do this in 2 years.
Maybe it won't cost the full amount.
Right.
But it
We won't
appears-
have all of it, but at least we have a good,
But you gotta remember, when you set money aside in those funds, they're only earning like 1.5%, if that, maybe 1% interest, so,
still cheaper than borrowing it when it comes time to, you know, pay off a big note and being bond on it.
But the issue doesn't seem to, is not the money, it's getting a consensus on the projects that need to be completed from the select board.
well, which projects, and like I said, we've actually chiseled, we had a list and we chiseled it off, so this is really the big one now, is this over here. This is the big one. So we'll see.
Yeah, and even this one, we've been told a couple of different things, so, you know, it's like one will say, oh, you gotta repoint the bricks, the other one says, no, don't repoint the bricks, do this instead.
Just seal the whole wall.
Yeah, to seal the wall, you know, I mean, so, you know, you have to, you know, and so far, the estimates that we've gotten are really wild and far apart.
Well, I think that's probably something you need some input from, inside the contractor, but
Is it weird?
there's somebody with a genuine interest in the town and that we're not paying too much and do that.
I have a question on the police
Unfortunately,
budget.
Bud Murphy retired.
Catherine, do we know why the life and disability insurance for the police department has gotten so high? It's on page 1, 2, 3, down the bottom, 0178421062. It's over budget by $2,640.
We are on page 3, is it?
Yeah.
And you're looking at which?
Like,
242?
like,
42, life and disability? No, I don't know. I can guess. There's some new hires that came on that might have affected it. I don't know.
because it did affect, and that's what I took a look at, because the uniform budget's over, training budget is over, so I attributed that to the new officers coming
Training
on,
budget is definitely because of the new.
new officer, but that seems to be that part of the budget seems to be escalating. I was just wondering if the rate changed, or was there an addition to that?
No, because the insurance rates are going to change, but that won't affect us until,
Okay.
they'll affect us in the coming budget, not this one.
So they have how many months left in their budget?
Their budget ends December 1st,
Okay.
but the contract expires June, Sandy?
Which contract?
Union contract for the PD.
Expires this June?
Yes.
What
It's
year
a-
was it?
It's 3-year. It's
was
in
3?
negotiations right now.
We started negotiations, yeah.
That was 3 years it went by?
I know, doesn't time fly, and this is the second one. Well, this is,
So we budget from January to December.
that's right,
Their contract runs June to June.
that's right.
Okay, or May 30th to June 1st, or whatever it is. Okay, so their benefits, if those benefits change, which year do they get assigned to in our budget process?
This year.
Okay, this year?
Yeah. You were seeing, so in this budget, you're seeing, you know, their rate, this budget is because they're still in contract. So in 2014, in that budget, so for the first 6 months, you'll see the remainder of this contract. And then if there's any changes to whatever, medical insurance or anything, you'll see that in the next 6 months with the new contract.
Now, who negotiates the contract?
It's not
there's-
non-public, right?
No, I don't think who does it is non-public.
To, our lead negotiator is Pat Constantino,
Okay.
and Selectman LaPlante is there as a backup. And then we have an attorney, Radigan, and Joyce attends. But Pat is the lead.
Is that the way we always do it? Or-
This is the second contract that Pat has been our lead negotiator with this attorney. But yes, that's typically what we do. The first one, of course, Pat wasn't a selectman at the time. The first one was, yep, that's who it was.
So that I get a handle on during the contract
They
procedure.
don't have anybody from the budget committee on those? I mean, the budget committee is what approves the amounts that go to the town meeting. I'm surprised they wouldn't,
No, because we're not just negotiating amounts, dollar amounts, we're negotiating,
Pretty much everything.
everything,
Yeah.
details, cost of uniforms, do they pay for them, don't they pay for them, or schedules, everything. Days off, holidays, do you work 40 hours and then get, or, it's just all that
yeah,
stuff.
I've seen that.
So that I'm clear,
And I'm not volunteering to help out.
I was looking at you saying,
I just want to let you know.
so I'm clear going
would
into
be an interesting combination to have a selectman and a budget committee member, like the chair.
No, not the chair. I was thinking Stan would be good.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I hadn't thought of that, but that would be a good combination.
Because, it is a financial thing, and the budget committee, the budget that gets presented to the legislative body, so.
Right, let's say by law, they're negotiating with the governing body, so we're the ones that
Right.
say yes or no. But a budget committee member would have kind of a different look on it. You'd report back to the selectmen, not the budget committee, but there wouldn't be anything wrong with that. That's
I think
interesting.
maybe,
Might look at
might wanna
that for
talk
the
to
next
Stan.
session.
what, 3 years from now, or?
Yeah,
Yep.
Really might just even this one to,
no, we can't have any more in there. The team's already been chosen.
They had their meeting and they
Yeah,
accepted
between
each
lawyers
other.
and they've accepted and,
Yep.
who's on the team.
yeah, that's already been. But we should look to the future for that, because that's a very good idea. Where were you a month ago, John? Come on.
I didn't know 3 years went by. Maybe even Pat could talk with John or something if she has any,
She has a lot of experience with unions.
She's been on both sides.
In her former life, she was negotiating for the other side, the employees. That was with a phone company,
are we down police officer now?
I just have one question and I'm all
not in
set.
my world.
The question I have is reappropriate the money for next year, 2014.
That's right.
The budget, the contract is part of that operating budget for the police department for
That's
that
right.
year.
That's right.
So if there are increases, let's say that everything goes through and everyone's happy and it passes
Right.
everything, and they get a 3% raise, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That money then comes out of that 2014 budget.
Mm-hmm.
There is no supplemental budget. The monies itself have to come within that limit, the outer limit, that we have proposed for the police department. Okay.
That's why these negotiations start now, and they have to be completed by February 7th?
Well, it's,
In February sometime.
Right, so
but it would be before your.
we form the outer boundary.
Public meeting?
It would be before the Budget Committee's public hearing.
Yeah, the public hearing, yeah.
Right, so if there has to be an adjustment, it can be made before the Budget Committee has a public hearing.
That adjustment cannot be made afterwards, after we've gone through the budget process, set the budget, made the recommendation to the town meeting, the town has accepted accepted or rejected that budget, hopefully they accept it.
The contract
This,
or?
no, this is all before we even go to town meeting, or the public hearing.
Right, I'm just saying, but let's say that during that period of time, it does not happen all of a sudden, let's say that they don't settle until October. Okay, which means
They're operating under the old contract.
right, and then they go into the new contract, which gives them a 3% raise.
They go into the new contract unless it's approved by the legislative body.
Right.
So we'd either have to hold a special town meeting to approve that
Change it.
contract, which you've
Okay.
seen in the paper communities have
Whatever's-
done, or get them to agree to hold it for,
Whatever's decided, whatever we come up with for our public hearing, and right after that, and then submit to the town, once it's at town meeting, that's it.
So once the boundary is set by the town meeting, the boundary is there.
new contractual agreement cannot go into effect unless the legislative body approves it.
Right.
Good. On that note, sir, I'm done and happy, and I will gladly make a motion to adjourn.
Let's see, do we have anything else?
I had a couple of questions.
Okay.
Sorry. The IT budget is at like 92% of its budget. Are we anticipating an overage there for the year, or
You dropped off, I'm sorry.
are we anticipating an over budget situation there?
It's possible. There were tremendous needs discovered with our IT at the PD.
Yeah.
Most of that has been stabilized. The IT director will be presenting us with his recommendations for into the future, so we won't be surprised. We can plan for it. There will be some immediate needs. If everything holds together, we'll be okay. So if nothing breaks down, we'll be good. But I don't anticipate it,
Well, it's the first year we've also had that department, so.
Exactly, this is the first time we've brought them into the fold, so.
And my next one is the highway, just to jump departments, the highway equipment and repair, about 20% over budget. It seems like we have a lot of newer equipment in there.
The highway equipment and repair, they also repair the police cruisers.
Does that come out of that? It doesn't come out of vehicle maintenance for,
Pardon?
that doesn't come out of vehicle maintenance for the highway, for the police department?
Oh,
Because we have
no, you're
vehicle
right.
maintenance.
Highway equipment maintenance and repair.
About $1,700 overspent already through the year.
1695.93. I don't know what that is. That's a good question.
That's why I ask it.
I could research back into my expenditure report. I suspect that probably isn't new.
And the same thing,
Did September show that?
I just noticed the vehicle maintenance for the police department's at 92%, despite we have 4 new cars in the last 2 years that were under
Right, but
warranty.
they still run some of the older cruisers. I think they had a transmission. Well,
And one of the new ones? Or-
no, these are for the older vehicles. So let's look at this. Steve, highway maintenance and repair. So there was a balance in September. And all of a sudden, whatever, maybe it's in this report. Maybe. PD. What is that line? That is 99,340. Equipment maintenance, repair, tech. I have no idea what it was. Postage meter rental. I can't discern from this what it was.
Well, it looks like they had a $3,300 expense for springs.
If you look on page 17 of your expenditure report,
Are you looking at, I was going back to the highway, sorry. Are you talking about police?
no, I'm talking about why they overspent their highway equipment maintenance and repair. It happened in October.
Buy a whole new dashboard or something, for one of the vehicles, I remember that.
Well, there's an expense
it's
to Donovan Spring for $3,300 in highway equipment and repair.
9934.
Page 24.
Say PD. Highway equipment maintenance and repair.
Are you on the wrong, I have page 24.
Okay, I'm on the
Yeah.
wrong page.
On page 20.
Looks like they had a
I'm on the wrong page. I only looked
STD
at the
on-spot
390.
kit of a brake kits. Maybe he had to buy some big parts or something.
So it doesn't show in this one, so it must be in
Page-
September. I don't see 390 in the highway. Do you? PD. Let's not make the same mistake twice. PD. No, I can't find it. Oh, that's,
Well, there's an expense in the month of October that was for $3,300 to Donovan Spring. So, and that appears to have thrown it over budget.
there you go.
If you go to page 24. It just says Donovan Spring Company, STD, on-spot kit, brake kits, Q.
Did they have to equip, did we pick up a new truck, was it last year? Did they have to put something in for plows? To make it so it could plow or something? That almost sounds like,
The pickup, was it the pickup truck that we purchased?
Well, this year, the one that started
I think we got a
last year-
one-ton this year.
This year was a,
they have to do special things to put
One ton or
the
something?
snow plow.
Oh, it was a rack body, right?
yeah, it was the body.
It was a rack, it was 1 ton.
Yeah.
And yes, they would equip that with a plow frame for plowing, or take it off, the one that we replaced it
Yes.
with.
Dennis,
I'll see if it comes back online next month and see what happens.
But if you look at the front, you'll see that the budget in itself is actually underspent.
True, but our revenues are only at 3/4, 76%, and we're about 82% through the year, so
Tax bills will be going out here in the next week.
happy, joy.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Festivus to the rest of us.
when do we get the selectmen's budget? I don't have it offhand.
Oh, it's I just looked it up. It's right here. Select Board, December 11th. If all goes well. I think it will.
How's the health insurance going with that? Is that all figured out yet? or-
No,
Only partially.
Is there like a plan A and plan B?
well, we approved the plans, but now we've got to get down to the nitty gritty, and I think, we're talking about that this week or next week?
This week.
This week. So,
What's the employee contribution on that? Is there a percentage?
10% now?
Oh, on the union is, I thought it was 13.
Oh, I mean for our regular employees. I don't know. But that's the part that we'll figure out,
Yeah.
is what are we going to do
Right,
to offset increases?
right.
Raise the percentage or,
Yes, it's one more thing because of what the state has done. The insurance companies had to change certain things, which is, of course, the cost is coming back to the
Plus.
communities. So all the policies are going up, you know.
Oh, it's not just the state and that, it's private sector is,
Well,
no,
it
this is directly from the
But this
state.
is directly what the state is requiring. See, when we started out, we were with LGC, and because we had everything through LGC, they gave us a discount. We got a rate discount. And it was pretty hard to go anywhere else because of this discount we were getting. It kept our costs down. But the state has made LGC break up the insurance companies, so it was one company with different divisions. Now it is 3 separate companies. And so there is no more discounts, you know, because we're dealing now with 3 companies again. Kind of reminds me of when they made the telephone company break up.
That's right.
You know, it didn't do any of the people any favors, but, so anyway, our budget is going up, and now we're going to be looking at it as to what we can do to keep the costs down. You know, and some of the things that, you know, there's a lot of things that we will look at, and including employee contributions, things like that.
I've seen some companies where they raise the deductible, but the employer will actually contribute. If you get to a certain amount, the employer will contribute.
Well,
We have one of those. We have to do that for
then we have.
one of the programs,
Yeah.
which is a much higher cost to the employee, and it still is less expensive for us if we cover some of that cost.
If you, so, you know, the deductible
Because the rate is
goes
so
up, but
cheap for it.
You get a cheaper rate, but,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
in turn the town
We
will
offset some of
reimburse
the
the
hurt.
employee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are
So
offset some of the
you don't
hurt.
get the- And you still have the buyout.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we still have the buyout. So there's things that, you know, we're looking at everything. Nothing has been ruled out yet. So whatever it takes that we can do to keep the costs down, or at least not going up as much as what it could. So,
How much is the buyout now?
I
It
don't,
varies, it depends on, the policy.
right,
Yeah.
depends on what they have, so, or what they could have. Depending on, so. But anyway, it's a serious thing, and we are working on it. You want to maintain good coverage for your employees, but yet at the same time, if it gets too costly, then the taxpayers can't afford it, so.
Well, and you have taxpayers that can't afford insurance.
Well,
Right.
my thoughts are is, keep it even with what the public or the taxpayers are getting, for their types of insurance that they're offered, so everybody's kind of on the same page.
Well, that's basically what
That's
we're
a
offering them, the
tough
couple
thing.
policies that we've already accepted that we would take. They're not Cadillac policies by any means. They're the same kind of policies that you and I would go out and get for ourselves if we could.
It'll keep you from losing your home.
Right.
Yeah. Do employers have to pay a tax on the healthcare coming up? Isn't there something that there?
There is something, but I don't know what it is.
So the
I don't
town
think it's
has
law
to
yet.
pay, in 2014, the employers will have to pay a tax on the part that's, I think that they contribute into the health insurance, so that would be an additional cost that we might have to budget for.
They'll call it, like a benefit?
It's a benefit tax.
Right.
That when
Was
the
that passed?
Obama, what's that?
Is that passed in the law?
Yeah, it's what I've been told.
Because I know we
It's a
did-
federal law with the Obama plan that in 2014 that will kick in.
Yeah, well, I know.
Interesting, they didn't review that with us last week.
So you might want to check into that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty substantial too.
Well, the young man that came and spoke to us, he's an actuary, and he was just filling us in on the updates and how we had asked about how the whole Obamacare, how is that going to affect the town? And part of the problem, from what he was saying to us, is they keep bringing them up to change things, and so it's still, although he feels within a couple of months that will all calm down, and the government will, have a plan, but right now it keeps, certain aspects of it keep getting attacked.
Yeah, I don't think
And-
anything's gonna change on that, but,
Well, it may not, but he
But the-
he was going over what is in existence now, and, what we would have to plan on. But he also said he didn't feel that the municipality would be that affected by what was going on, because the type of insurance that we offer is an acceptable plan, so it's not like any of our employees would have to give up what they have to, to sign up for
Yeah.
something else. So as far as that kind of deal, basically the policies that people are having problems with are the ones that have the very high deductibles, and what they're really getting for that.
they're usually an individual plan, somebody buying on the
Right.
private sector, self-employed.
But it's such a high deductible that what they're actually getting from this plan is what they consider second rate, or in other words, it's not necessarily good policies. So, and this is what people are going to be forced to give up. So that if you're going to pay all this money, that you see something in return for it, instead of just a major medical event, with a high deductible.
Ask about that tax on the employer,
Yeah,
because
we will.
that's gonna also be with the police department
Yep.
and the highway,
Yeah, well, I do know it was talked about a little bit, but there were no numbers yet as far as the percentage of what it was going to cost. And I do know that Joyce is plugging into this constantly to keep our numbers up to date, because we are in the process of trying to get the budget numbers set for the health insurance, so
Yeah,
I will check with her
I
tomorrow.
had gotten a notice that had, or it does become a law in 2014, that
Yes.
employers will be
Right.
paying a tax on the benefits that they, so,
Most of the Republicans win their way.
I have another budget question.
nothing's gonna
No, it's-
change there.
it's-
Not,
It's
not
fun.
before your policies have to go into effect, which is
But-
January,
Fun.
so.
The tax will be
They
there,
extended it
but
to
they
March.
don't know
March.
yet what the number's gonna be. That's still being bantered back and
The
forth.
percentage, I think,
Yeah.
is already written in stone.
I don't,
That's part of the law.
I said he said it wasn't. it
The
wasn't-
tax,
What John's talking about, I think, is
Yeah.
probably set.
So, anyway, but we will
or pay, we
find out
don't
for
know,
you.
but the tax that will pay on the benefit should be.
Eric has a question.
I just,
Sorry.
an observation, that the Community Action Transit has not invoiced us yet for this year's application.
No, a lot of companies don't invoice us till the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Remember, some of those companies are June to
That's true.
the end of May instead of
That is true.
what we are. The other thing, too, I'll point out to you, if you look, I know you've asked in the past about the merit line, especially in the administration, you'll see that the merit lines still have, merit raise lines still have monies in them. The administration one will be depleted soon because the selectmen gave the town clerk an increase. And we can't give her a merit raise. We can't judge her
Right.
the way she does her job, but town meeting did vote to increase her wage, so we just increased her wage. This year, you'll see it very
Retroactive? or-
Yeah, you'll see it very clearly in her line item. It will not be mingled with the merit pool, and that was the mistake we made when we took it out of her line item and threw it in there. You'll see in the others, in the highway and the police, there's some residual, and it's because we do use it as a true merit raise. It's not automatic, so not everyone got a 2.5%. We have some very good department heads.
All I have to say is that I'd like to acknowledge the loss of Ray Burton, who was a friend of Tilton, a great politician, a great friend of all the municipalities, passed away from kidney cancer. Yes, was it yesterday morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning?
Just a moment.
And he served the state for many years and will be missed by everybody.
He did a lot for us.
We did.
Gene Chandler said, and I thought it was perfect for Ray, that, most of us can be replaced. But here's Ray Burton, and he's right. We're not going to be able to replace him. There's no way to replace him.
I heard everyone in heaven got a black comb yesterday. Everyone in heaven got a black comb yesterday.
Such a good guy.
Called him up for many of things. We are having trouble
Always.
getting through it.
He has always responded.
Yes.
Always.
Jump
Never
right
let
I
us
always
down.
enjoy, because you could call him at home,
Yes.
and he would say, yep, be right on it. And I would look at him, I would call him and say, Ray, where is Bath, New Hampshire anyways?
He had a beautiful old barn on his house, on his
Yeah.
property, and I used to
That's-
take people there, and he'd get out and photograph it, and if he was home, he'd come out and talk to people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I figured out where Bath was, then I was thrown for a loss when he came to me and said, we need to go to Dummer, New Hampshire. Point me in the direction of it.
You got to go to Dummer to get to his house.
Well, no, I pointed towards Manchester and said, it's dumb enough down there. Okay. Sir, I would like to make a motion to adjourn. At this point in time, there's no other business.
I make a
Second. All those in favor?
Why I?
Aye.
Why I?
I was gonna say, see
Come on,
if,
Joanna, you can get